This is Jupiter Today for the 13th of January, 2015. Jupiter Today is a daily podcast focusing attention on the dynamic Jupiter system for the purpose of monitoring activity. At 0 hours UTC, the position of Jupiter on the celestial sphere is a right ascension of 9 hours, 32 minutes, 39.3 seconds, and a declination of positive 15 degrees, 30 minutes, 57.8 seconds. The angular separation from the Sun of Jupiter, as seen from the Earth, is 151.758 degrees, and that's 1.121 degrees greater than what it was yesterday. The phase angle, the angle between Earth and the Sun as seen from Jupiter, is 5.013 degrees, and that's 0.182 degrees less than what it was yesterday. The distance between Earth and Jupiter continues to get less and less every day as we move towards opposition. Today the distance is 663,854,408 kilometers, and that's 1,120,705 kilometers closer than what it was yesterday. And that gives a relative velocity between the two planets 46,696.04 kilometers per second, and that's 1,675 kilometers per second slower than what it was yesterday. The velocity, the change in velocity, continues to get larger and larger every day. At 0 hours UTC, the central meridian, CM1, 153.09 degrees, CM2, 357.01 degrees, CM3, 258.96 degrees. Again, reintroducing the new graphic. This is looking at the Jupiter system from above, and you can see the orbits of Io and Europa and Ganymede and Callisto as seen from above. And this is a 24-hour time span. So this is 0 hours UTC, 6, 12, 18, and 0 hours UTC tomorrow. And that goes for all 4 of the moons. And I'm also showing which quadrants I keep talking about. So, at 0 hours UTC, Io begins the day in quadrant 1, heading east, and the heading east is from the Earth's perspective, which is in this direction along the blue line. The Sun's direction is along the gray line here. At 0 hours, Europa starts the day in quadrant 2, heading west. Ganymede spends most of the day in quadrant 3, heading west, and Callisto spends all day in quadrant 4, heading east. And the Earth's point of view at 0 hours. So at 6 hours UTC, Io is past its eastern elongation and is now in quadrant 2, heading west. Europa continues in quadrant 2, heading west. At 12 hours UTC, Io and Europa continue in quadrant 2, heading east. Getting a little close there today. And 1800 hours UTC, Io has transited Jupiter and is now in quadrant 3, heading west. Europa is still transiting Jupiter, but has moved into quadrant 3, also heading west. And Ganymede's at its western elongation and is now in quadrant 4, heading east. And you can really see what's going on there. Here you can see at 1800 hours, Io is past transiting, and Europa is just still transiting. And by 0 hours UTC tomorrow, Eo's in quadrant 3, heading west, but near its western elongation. Everyone else continues on their same courses. There are 8 Jupiter satellite events today. At 1346 UTC, the shadow of Io ingresses. At 1420, the transit of Io begins. At 1434, the shadow of Europa ingresses. At 1544, the transit of Europa across Jupiter begins. At 1603, the shadow of Io egresses. At 1637, the transit of Io ends. At 1728, the shadow of Europa egresses. And at 1838, the transit of Europa ends. So between 1544 and 1603 today, both the moons, Io and Europa, and their shadows are both on the near side of Jupiter, on the face of Jupiter. And from 1544 to 1637, a good long time, both Io and Europa, the moons, are transiting Jupiter. So a good photographic opportunity there. There were no satellite mutual events today, but let's hop on to the equator of Jupiter just above the atmosphere and speed up time a little bit and watch the next 24 hours of Jupiter's sky. You can see Io and Europa moving towards the Sun to their eventual transits. Ganymede firmly in quadrant 3, still heading west from our point of view. And Callisto over there in quadrant 4, heading east. And here come Europa and Io. Looks like we'll be seeing a little bit of this from our latitude and longitude. The red spot crosses Jupiter's meridian 3 times today, the first at 2:47, the second at 12:43, and the third at 22:39 UTC. There were no new images and no new radio data and no new papers. The time of this recording is 1:07 UTC on the 13th of January 2014. So please subscribe. I enjoy hearing your comments. This podcast is part of a larger project in development. So send your images to the email shown. And until tomorrow, I bid you peace.